Joining me today is Jake Shaffer. What's up, dude?
What's going on?
So what do you want tonight? Because I got more than just Woodford.
I'm going Blanton's, man.
Going to Blanton's.
100%. I think so, because when I say hospice, people are, like you're a nurse. I'm not a nurse.
Gaylord Fokker.
I am not a nurse.
Nothing against male nurses. And I said, Jake, I have something I have to tell you. I said, I used to think you were the biggest douchebag
in the gym.
Used
to steal alcohol. I was 15 years old. I stole 2 cars. Returned them both.
That's nice of you.
Yeah.
So you borrowed 2 cars.
Borrowed them. He stole my fucking birthday money off me when I was 13 to buy fucking heroin. You know what even goes harder? I came home one day from school. The fucking fridge was gone, dude. He sold the fridge for drugs. They introduced themselves when we moved in to that house, but we always thought they were swingers. So we never.
What? Why did you think that? So your parents are sitting right there. What do you have to say to them right now?
Oh man, I actually blacked this one out for a long time. I was about 10 years old, maybe 9. I was getting a shower, and my dad came in the bathroom.
Wake the fuck up.
I know, I'm always
dragging it. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Welcome to the Barbells and Bourbon podcast. I am your big, bald, bearded, barbell lifting, bourbon drinking son of a bitch, Sean. And joining me today is Jake Shaffer. What's up, dude?
What's going on?
How long did it take you to get here, man?
10 minutes. We live close. And I was driving pretty fast. I didn't want to be late, but I ended up
dedicated
being late, as always.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, of course.
You must be thirsty. I know you got your Stanley.
Yeah, I had to
you fell into
join the crew.
You fell into the trap.
I've seen people, actually, one being my wife, spend, she didn't even tell me a price. I bet you $200.
Tell me she fought
Stanley.
for it.
eBay.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Somebody bought a whole mass production of them for $60 and resold them between $200 and $300. Fucking genius.
So no brawling. No brawling at Target.
This was the February special. Early release.
Nice. Matches. Did you coordinate that on purpose? It matches your outfit.
Almost. A little bit.
Well, would you like to choose? Do you drink bourbon first of all?
Yeah.
Do you partake?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, well, last time we went out, that's what we had.
Yeah.
Casino. Yeah. I forget what kind it was, but I think we just did Woodford.
So what do you want tonight? Because I got more than just Woodford.
I'm going Blanton's, man.
Going to Blanton's.
100%.
All right.
That is my all-time favorite, and it's a super hard find. I haven't had it in years. It's literally impossible to buy.
Oh, wait.
Ooh. Boom. Is that the same one there, or is there 2 different
It's the
kinds?
same one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if
I
they
have
had
a backup bottle. Of course, try to collect the horsies.
Oh, you're doing the same.
I mean, might as well, right?
All right. I didn't know if you were going to go different or what.
I got a long way to go. I only got 2.
And special glasses, too. Fuck yeah.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Cheers. Have you had Blanton's?
It's been a long time. It was one of my first ones, actually, that I ever tried.
What do you think of it?
Bold. Very bold.
Yeah.
It's not too... Okay, so I never liked bourbon, and then all of a sudden tried an old fashioned. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I like this. And then all of a sudden, once you get that acquired taste doing sweet for so long, then you're like, okay, fuck this. I don't want that. You start choosing just straight up. Mm-hmm. So that's it's the smoothest out of anything. I think anything here, honestly. Knob Creek's good. I've had a bunch of these. I've had Old Forester, Blanton's, Knob Creek, Basil Hayden, Maker's Mark, Elijah Craig, Jack Daniels, obviously.
So you are
Envy. Yeah.
You're a little bourbon drinker.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you mentioned, having cocktails. It's kind of hard to tell what the bourbon really tastes like because they all kind of taste the same when you're mixing it.
They do.
When you try it neat, that's when you really kind of like pick out those tasting notes and see, how it feels in your mouth. And some are thinner, some are thicker, and some are lighter, some are darker. But yeah, Blanton's is good. I think it's a little overhyped, to be quite honest with you.
The price is sky high for
It's
what it
ridiculous, and that's
is.
just
What'd you pay for that?
I think I paid about $100.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
They usually go for anywhere, from what I've seen, like 90 to 120.
But I think it's way overpriced for.
Do you know what it is in a
get.
restaurant? It's 20,
Oh my gosh,
$25-$30 a pour.
Pour. Yeah, it's just so hard to find. But yeah, it's good. It's not my favorite, but everybody has their own taste.
Yeah.
But all right, so we already know each other, obviously,
100%.
and I think the way we met is kind of comical.
Yeah.
So
I knew we were gonna start with this.
let's kind of go back in time here, and we'll just kind of like play a role. So pretend you're at the gym. You obviously work out.
All right, yeah, we work out a little bit.
Say you need a spot, right? Say you're doing 3 plates on bench. You want to make sure that you don't drop it on you. It's respectable weight.
Yeah.
So you find someone at the gym that looks like they could spot you. You pick me. I spot you, and then we exchange pleasantries. I'm like, so what's up, man? What do you do? How do you answer someone they ask what you do?
I just keep it kind of broad.
Yeah.
I have a interesting job. Well, not interesting. It's just kind of a subcategory of medical sales. So I just say medical sales.
Medical sales?
Yeah, just keep it broad.
Sometimes broader is better.
I think so, because when I say hospice, people are, like you're a nurse. I'm not a nurse. Like,
Gaylord Fokker.
I am not a
Nothing
nurse.
against male nurses. Yeah, sometimes keeping it broad is because if you dig too deep and you're too specific, sometimes it makes you come off like you're being hoity-toity. Like,
Well, you're trying to do the I'm better than you, or you know what I mean, like comparing.
Sometimes
almost one-upping.
So the reason I kind of painted that picture is because that's how we met, right? So we went to the same gym for a long time. I used to see you a lot. You used to see me a lot. And I think I spotted you. I think that's kind of like how we met. And we started talking afterwards,
Yeah.
Exchanging pleasantries, blah, blah, blah. And then I confessed something to you.
Was it the same day or was it no? It was a different. It was.
Was it a different day?
I think it was a different day.
Well, anyways,
Yeah.
So I confessed something to you, and I said, Jake, I have something I have to tell you. I said, I used to think you were the biggest douchebag
In the gym.
in the gym,
Yep.
and that's why I never talked to you. Now, I think that's kind of comical, but
Because didn't we go to Stinky's Bar and Grill, the one in Lawrenceville? I think that was our first.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
yeah.
It was us four actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so.
And, I judged you. And, I think every episode of the podcast so far, we talk about judging others by their appearance.
Yeah.
And I totally judged you. You wore Jordans all the time, sweatpants, a tight flannel. You have your chain, the perfect hair, the freaking tats. And I'm just like, and you never really smiled.
No. I guess
And
not.
I'm just
now
like,
that I think
he
about
is
it.
such a fucking douchebag. But now we're bros, right?
Yeah.
And it's just funny how,
Oh man.
someone's perception of you by your parents can be so off.
Oh, I mean,
Ridiculously.
I'm guilty of that too. There's a lot of people I've met at we'll say what, LA Fitness, Powerhouse, Webb's, that I thought, like, man, this guy's fucking lame. And then you have a conversation with him,
Yeah.
whoever it may be, and you're like, wow, now I'm the douchebag. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I don't know why I do that. I don't, because it's not a competition.
No.
I'm not bigger, better than anyone else. Like no one, even a pro. Like I'm not going to say, oh, like he's fucking small.
Yeah.
I'm not. No.
Yeah.
Never.
It's just, a natural
I think it's
thing
human
to do.
nature.
It is. I think we're all, I don't want to say in competition just in life, but,
Friendly
I think
competition is good.
I think I think me judging you like that, I think that, I don't want to say it comes from jealousy, but I admired you
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, he's in shape, good looking dude. Like, and I think that made me feel like I have to talk down on you to make me feel better.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Fair.
So I think there might have been a little bit of that going on, but
I mean, perception of a male is a protector or to be an alpha, essentially.
Yeah.
So, especially in the gym, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Whether people want to admit it or not, like if you're throwing up some serious weight and you look pretty big, people are going to watch. People are going to look.
testosterone's flowing.
It's been flowing. It's been flowing for a while. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I guess that's just across the board.
Yeah.
Whether you have that in your blood or not. You know what I mean? Like deep down inside, you might not say it, but you feel it. Mm-hmm. You're like looking at that guy and you're like,
Who's he think he is?
Yeah, who the fuck's he think he is? I can do the 140s for 12. He only did them for 10.
Yeah. So I mean, looking back at it, I can laugh about it. I mean, I feel bad that I judged you, not to the point where, I talked to you about it and I confessed it to you.
Yeah.
Because, I knew you weren't going to be like, what the fuck? Like, I knew you weren't going to get pissed at me. I thought it was, at the time, it was kind of funny, but anyways. So Jake of today, looks like you got it all together, man. But most people, they've taken interesting roads to get to where they're at.
Yes.
So let's kind of take a step back.
Okay.
And I'd like you to sort of explain to me, starting at your childhood, what was Jake's life like?
So it started out as a normal childhood as anybody would have. Loving parents. They were always together. I had everything that I wanted and then some. I'm an only child. So of course, like I'm spoiled more than most families. I don't know. And then after, from as far back as I can remember, because I'm trying to think, up until I was about 10, things started to get a little fuzzy. I don't understand I don't understand the qualities of good relationship because I wasn't old enough to understand that. So my parents' relationship fell apart. I was 12 years old. They got divorced. And I saw a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have seen as a kid. I'd come home and I remember the one day I came home. I'll never forget it. I was in 8th grade. Came home, walking down the street. I lived in a cul-de-sac. It was 5th house on the left. I'll never forget it. Come home. There's 3 cars in the driveway. All the windows are smashed out of them. I opened the garage door because I didn't have a key. I always went in through the garage door. All the furniture's flipped up. I had a gym in my house growing up, of course. And we had mirrors on the wall so you could see yourself work out. They were all smashed. All the furniture in the game room destroyed. There's needles on the floor, like insulin syringes for shooting heroin.
So you came home from school to a nightmare.
Absolutely. I'll never forget it. And that kind of scarred me from a young age because that was the starting point of pure destruction.
So when you saw that, were you completely shocked? Like what could have happened here? Or did things leading up to that day, did you start to kind of piece things together?
Pieced it together.
Okay.
I kind of noticed like my mom and dad fading apart. And then, so that was a little bit ahead of the story. But before that, we had already moved out, my mom and I. And I wanted to stay with my dad because I had a better relationship with him, I would say. I still got along with my mom, but I'm a boy. You know what I mean? I wanted to be with my dad. That's kind of human nature as well. So, excuse me, I wanted to be there. And that's the house I grew up in. I didn't want to live with my mom and her fucking boyfriend.
Yeah.
It was the last thing I wanted.
So your life was already getting flipped upside down. You didn't want to be flipped upside down even more by unrooting yourself from your childhood home.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I tried to hold on to that as long as I could because as a kid, that's all you want. You want your family. You want them to love you. You want all of that. You want your parents to stick together. That's what it's all about. But if you look at it nowadays, no one stays together.
Rare.
It's very rare.
So your mom leaves, you stay with your dad. How does your relationship with your mom change from that point?
I lived with her Monday through Friday, but I kept my address the same. So I would ride the bus home every day. And then my mom worked at the courthouse in Greensburg. I grew up in Fort Allen. So on her way home, I would already be at the house. She would literally pass that because we lived about 10 minutes down the road from where I grew up. So she would just pick me up. So I'd ride the bus home and I just wanted to be normal, feel normalcy. And then every other weekend I'd do mom, dad. And the weekends, like, I lied about a lot of shit because my dad was never there. He was addicted to drugs, heroin, selling heroin, using heroin, coke. So when I would get there Friday after school, he'd be gone till Sunday. He'd come home Sunday morning.
So how old are you at this point?
13.
So you're 13, living by yourself for 3 days.
Yes.
Every other week.
Yep. I learned how to cook, do laundry, all that. I had to. No one else was going to do it.
So you were catapulted into being a man really fast.
Yes. And I look back at all that, and I don't know. I don't know if I would have said something to my mom. I just didn't want my dad taken away from me, even after all the horrible shit that he did. Because I mean, that didn't stop after then. It gets worse. Like, we still don't have a relationship to this day. I don't talk to either of them. So I don't know if me saying something back then would have changed anything, because I just felt like my mom wanted a reason to keep me away from him. He was bad news, but I didn't want to believe it.
Did you feel resentment towards your mom because she was trying to pull you away from your dad?
Absolutely. And I fought her tooth and nail. That's why I lied. She would always ask me, has he been home? You know, like, and then she'd be like, hey, can I talk to him? And I would always make up a lie. Oh, he's in the garage doing this, or he's out back doing that, or he's cooking dinner and doesn't want to be bothered, or he doesn't want to talk to you. And I'd make up some bullshit lie so I could try and hold on to him as long as I could.
So she's trying to protect you from him, and you're protecting him from her.
Yes.
Just a battle back and forth all the time.
All the time.
That's crazy.
And then they would always talk shit on each other. It was horrible as a kid. Like, I would never want to put my kids through that. If I do have kids, I would never do that.
So let me ask you this, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to phrase this right, but so you admit your dad was bad news.
Yes.
But you still wanted to be with him. Obviously, it wasn't bad enough for you to be afraid of him. Why would you think that being with your dad was a safer or happier place than going with your mom? What was the dynamic there that made you choose your dad?
So I would say I thought in a crazy fantasy land that somehow he would change and then we could all go back to the house we grew up in. Well, the house I grew up in, the house that they bought together after getting married. And I thought we could have all that back. So that's what I tried to hold on to, that fantasy idea.
Did you try to talk to him? I know you're young at this point, but did you ever talk to him like, Dad, what the fuck are you doing?
I did.
How did he take that?
Excuse. That's all it was. It was always a fucking excuse, man. Always. Oh, like, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just, I had too many drinks. I didn't want to drive. No, you're out doing drugs. Like, it was always a fucking lie or a fabrication or telling me what I wanted to hear. And I'm a kid, so, like, of course I'm going to believe it. I was only 13, and that never stopped. Even to this day, man, I'm 31 years old, and he still fucking lies to me. So I don't get it. Why do that? Why pick drugs over your whole family? He had a great business. He was an electrician, made tons of money. He's great at what he does, still to this day. He wired my house, both houses, actually. Did the restaurant that I own. Yeah. And still chooses to be a fuck up. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Has he ever been to rehab, or has anyone tried to?
Countless times.
So I've never been an addict. I know a lot of people that have parents that are addicts, friends that are addicts, dealt with that whole horrible process.
Yes.
I understand that an addict will not change unless they want to change themselves. You can drop them off at rehab every day of the week. If they don't want to change, they won't.
They will not.
So do you feel like your dad just doesn't want to change?
Even to this day, like, he feels that it's comfortable to tell me, and I know when he's using drugs because he doesn't answer his phone. He's completely MIA, and he tells me, he's like, yeah, like, I do a little bit of meth. Who the fuck says that to their kid?
Just a little bit.
I just do a little bit of meth.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck would ever say that to their son? I don't want to fucking hear that. Even if I did it, I don't want to fucking know. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. And he just thinks that now that I'm an adult, it's cool.
It's cool to tell the truth.
Yeah,
like you're going to be
still
more
wanna hear it.
accepting.
Yeah.
Wow. How are things with your mom?
So ever since,
Well, hold on. Was she ever in trouble with drugs, or did she ever take that?
so that was a whole
Dark
other
road.
thing too, man. They did it together.
Okay.
And it took me, believe this or not, it took me up until, oh man, I think I confronted her about it. I go to counseling, I still do. Anyone that does not go to counseling that has unresolved issues, I tell everyone it's the best thing you could possibly do. It's a neutral party. You're not judged. No one's taken a side. It's the best thing you could do. So anyways, I do that. My counselor's like, what's your family dynamic? So I basically say all the things I just told you. And he's like, well, what's the relationship with your mom? And I'm like, I feel that if you're with somebody that uses drugs, and she, even after they separated, they still met up. She still drove him around. And she still hung around him. So then I did a little bit of research, in my own head. And I'm like, the only reason somebody would stick around, and I remember a few times as I got older, I was 17, 18, 19 years old. He spent the night at our house. Why? And then I asked my mom, I said, hey, shot in the dark, why is he here? Or why was he there? This is a couple years ago, I asked. And she was like, oh, he just needed a place to stay. No, he didn't. Because I asked my dad, I said, why were you honestly there? To drop off drugs. And I was like, dude, I cannot fucking believe this. Talked all that shit on him. He's a loser. He's a piece of shit. He's a drug addict, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She was doing it with him on and off for years and never admitted it, and said all that negative stuff about him when it was just a mask over her, just to protect herself.
So the opinion that you had of your mom up to that point changed drastically. Now she's a fucking hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
So that day, how much did that change your relationship with your mom?
So you want to know what she said to me?
What?
And it's always the same excuse. Bree, my wife, has opened my eyes to a lot of things, good and bad. Some things I don't want to believe, but that are actually the truth. And I asked her what she thought of that. How should I go about this? Because I did ask my dad again, and he's like, I swear to God, he's like 100%. That's why I was there. And my mom lied when I brought it up. And then eventually, at the end of the conversation, she admits to it. Well, one or two times. No, it wasn't. It's more than that, but I'm glad you admitted it. And after she said that, she goes, Bree put you up to this? Why can't you just own your shit, man? It was 10 years ago, whatever, however long ago, long time ago. Just own it, move on. I'll respect you more as a person if you just tell me the truth. I'm tired of being lied to.
Yeah.
I've been lied to my whole life, man, by them. Why?
So there's 20-ish years between mom and dad splitting up and this confrontation with your mom, right?
Yeah, 2010, man.
That much
14
time
years.
had gone by.
Yeah.
So think about it, Jake. You've spent, how old's your mom now?
My mom is, oh, man. So September 3rd, 1967.
Okay. So that's,
What is that? She's almost 60.
Yeah.
50,
So
she'll be 57.
So
She's
she
56.
spent almost half of her life lying to you.
Yep.
Someone that lies for that long is going to lie the rest of their life. That's
Yes.
normal to them. They start believing their own lies,
They do.
right?
And you have to.
Even when you confront someone about
Yeah.
it, they're
Yeah.
still going to try to lie their way out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm not defending your mom by any means, but changing that behavior of lying from someone who's done it that long is just not going to happen.
No.
So, oh yeah. All right. Let's go back in time again.
Yeah.
So 13-ish years old, your life's flipped upside down, literally.
Yes.
Destroyed, literally.
Excuse me. Sorry.
How does this affect Jake in school? How does this affect Jake's relationship with friends, Jake's relationship with girls? How does Jake change as a child after this happened?
So a lot of resentment. I will say that. I did a lot of shit, man, in my teenage years. Used to steal alcohol. I was 15, probably 15 years old. I stole 2 cars. returned them both.
That's nice of you.
Yeah.
So you borrowed two cars.
Borrowed them. The one the kid did know about, I offered him gas money. I said, hey, can I borrow your car? And I was like, I don't have a license. He's like, yeah, it's cool. Just put gas in it. I said, all right, cool. So drove it around. Didn't even have a permit. I was 15. And the other vehicle I did steal. It was sitting on my street, unlocked, opened the door. It was like right out of a movie. Opened the visor, keys fall right in my lap. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Took it off jumps. Got Jeep Cherokee, actually.
All right, so you're obviously
some
retaliating.
Yes.
Did you, and I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this, but so you were unsupervised.
For a long time.
For a long time. Did you feel like you could do whatever the fuck you wanted?
Yeah.
Without any repercussions?
I used to, oh man, like it's all coming. It's like hit me in the face. So I stole those two vehicles and then I would party every weekend. I was 15, 16 years old. Then once I got my license, I really dove in hard. Meaning, anytime there was expired food in the fridge, I put it in a bag and went around a neighborhood that I didn't live by and destroyed houses, pissed in gas tanks. I mean, I was a fucking asshole for a long time. And then like once I hit my 20s, like 19, 20, like that stuff stopped. Because this is in college, like you grow out of that. But it really stopped. I think I was a senior in high school, maybe a junior. State police knocked on my door the next day. And they said, do you know anything about putting cheese on people's cars? And because that'll eat the paint off of, if you let it sit on there long enough, especially like bologna and stuff, like the chemicals.
Don't get any ideas.
Like it will eat the paint off of a car.
That's crazy.
Sugar in a gas tank, it'll completely fuck your fuel system up, which I did. Piss, that will mess up your gas tank or your fuel system as well. So yeah, man, I was unsupervised. My mom worked, so she worked 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. And then each night, Monday through Friday, she worked at the restaurant, Joey-O's in Greensburg, from 5 to 9 or 5 to 10. So from 8 to 10 o'clock at night, Monday through Friday, she was busy. And then on the weekends, she'd go out with guys, whoever, her friends, boyfriends, whatever. And I never saw her. She'd go out Friday night all night, come home 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I worked as well. So I'd come home, or she would come home, and then Saturday, wake up late, and then I'm at work. She would go out again. By the time I got home, she wasn't there. So we never saw each other.
So you didn't have parents?
No. My dad moved to Florida, got arrested in Florida for selling coke, did time, got extradited back up here, did about a year or two in jail. And we didn't talk for about 3 years. I think from 15 to being 18, 3 years we didn't speak.
Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't have any, I had no one. I had my grandparents, but that was really about it.
Did you have any really close friends that you could confide in about what was going on that wouldn't judge you?
Yeah. And like my close friends knew what was going on. I told a couple of them, and they knew I was going through some weird shit, like moving obviously out of the house I grew up in. And that wasn't the only spot. We hopped multiple places. I bet you, oh man, off the top of my head, I think we moved 3 or 4 times after the house I grew up in. Just guy after guy after guy after guy.
So it was with a boyfriend,
Always.
A temporary boyfriend.
And that always turned into a nightmare too.
How did you get along with these guys?
I didn't.
Was it because of the people they were, or were you trying to protect your mom? What was it?
So the first guy, Dave, I'll never forget him. We lived in his house. So after a week or two of living there, he thought that it was appropriate to put his hands on my mom. So after he beat the shit out of my mom one night, I went up to him with a baseball bat and fucking clocked him. Right in the back.
Wow.
And then he started chasing after me, and then I fucking smashed him right in the face.
What happened after that? Press charges, or was like it never happened?
No, I told him, I said, touch my mom again, I'll fucking kill you. Because he's a big dude, 6'5", 260, big guy.
That's large.
He's a big guy. So he thought that he was, it was cool to bully somebody that couldn't fight back. And I don't care how I feel about somebody, that's fucking wrong.
Right.
And I put him in his place. And I said, look, the police are going to believe me over you.
Yeah.
And he had a record too. He was already a felon. So you really think they're going to believe somebody that's in their 40s that already has a record? They're going to believe the teenager, you know?
So Big Dave gets smashed in the back and smashed in the face with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Who's next?
So we believe it or not, we shortly left after that. It wasn't long after that. I can't remember. I think I blacked a lot of that shit out. I think we moved to Jeanette after that, like in the town of Jeanette. Or no, we did not. Carbon, which is right in Greensburg, right by Greensburg Central Catholic. That was our first place together, just my mom and I. And then that's like all that shit stopped. That was, we moved there, we moved to Carbon, then we moved 2 other places. But at that point, my mom was with the guy that she's with now, my stepdad, Josh.
Did you know your mom was using at the time?
She hit it well. It wasn't to the point of where it was a problem, to where it ruined my dad, like how it ruined my dad's life. I think it was recreational, is a good term.
She was a functioning addict.
Yes. I wouldn't even use the term addict.
Okay.
Just someone that liked to have fun here and there.
Well, I apologize for branding her that, but
no, it's fine. Like I classify an addict as someone that uses all the time.
Can't function
without it. And she is definitely not that person. I think it was maybe like an excitement, and it was something to do like while you're out, like when people go out and drink. Yeah. You mask it with Coke to keep drinking. Same thing. You don't like, hopefully they don't do that all the time, but same thing. Like just as an upper. And I'm not sure even what she used. I have no idea what it was to this day.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So you're bouncing around. You end up near Jeanette or near Greensburg. How old are you at this time?
I was still in high school.
Still in high school?
Yeah, I was still in high school at this time because we moved out there when I was probably 14, 15 with that Dave douchebag dickhead, Triple D. And then we moved to Carbon, and then we went into Jeanette. And Carbon is when she met the guy that she's with now, that my stepdad, she married.
Okay.
So
she found stability.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yes.
What's your relationship like with him?
It was really bad at first.
Yeah.
Because he thought, damn it, I keep hitting that. Like he thought that he could come in and be my dad. And I specifically told him, don't fucking call me anything like that. I don't need a dad. I don't want a dad. I want nothing to do with that. And I don't know. I think it was coming from a good place, but I was really fucking angry all of my teenage years for, I guess, being sold short my life. That's how I felt. I just felt like I got dealt a really shitty hand of cards, and it fucked me the whole time.
What's his name?
Josh.
Do you think, now looking back, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Do you think Josh felt genuinely like he could help you? Or
yes and no.
Be a genuine father figure?
Yes and no. I think that he came in and tried to be the superhero, and that wasn't what I was looking for personally. Maybe that's what my mom was looking for because I didn't have a dad. Like my dad was absent. And then, like I played sports and stuff. My mom would come if she could, but remember, she worked 2 jobs. She worked 60 hours a week. So I didn't expect it, but she did show up when she wanted to or when she could. And, my dad never showed up to anything, man. He left me on Father's Day all the time. Like we had plans on Father's Day, as you would with your son. I got stood up 3-4 years in a row, man. And even to this day, like I don't get a text on my birthday. We don't do anything for Father's Day. I don't even fucking talk to him.
So he's just absent.
Completely absent, as he's been for like on and off. He comes in and out of my life. Basically, I compare it to a jacket. You take it on and take it off. That's all our relationship is.
Does he come into your life when it's convenient to him?
Yes. Because I own 2 restaurants. So like the restaurant Bird on the Run in Penn Hills, he did some of the work there. And of course, like, why wouldn't he do the work? He's going to get paid. I'm his son. I'm definitely going to pay him. And he can work at his own convenience, meaning he can fuck off whenever he wants and show up when he wants. And that's what he did. And I fired him. Like,
so his role in your life shifted from being a father to more of a business relationship, a convenience.
100%.
Has your dad ever told you that he loves you?
I have not heard that in years. maybe here and there, I'd say, all right, we'll even go as broad as from when they split up. I bet you I've heard it on one hand from him 5 times or less.
How does that make you feel?
Like shit. And that's why like my relationships personally have been rough. Because I don't know what a real relationship is. And I don't want to use that as an example to excuse the things that I've done in my relationships, but I never really had a true understanding of what love is. My parents never said that. My mom did here and there, but even to this day, like we'll hang up the phone, see ya, and she says bye. Like it's pointless, man. Like, don't you love your kids? Aren't you supposed to? Shouldn't you?
You shouldn't have to try to love, you shouldn't have to try to love your kids.
No. No.
All right. This is like hitting me, man. Like this is deep stuff.
Yeah.
So you spent most of your childhood life protecting your father and yearning for his love because he was your father.
Yeah.
You never got that back.
No.
Does that make you feel like you wasted your time? Does that make you feel like, how does that make you feel that you put the effort in, but he didn't give a shit?
So, man,
because you did. You put the effort in.
Yeah.
You wanted him to love you. He was your fucking dad.
Yeah. And we have a good relation. Like we really do. Like when things are good, like we're the best of friends. Like we do have, like when he's sober, like we have a lot in common. We really do. We get along really well. We kind of look the same, so it's kind of, excuse me, it is kind of nice, but I don't have time for that anymore. I don't have time for the inconsistency, the toxicity. You're either going to be in my life or you're not. And it made me feel like shit, man, because I forgave all that stuff. He stole my fucking birthday money off me when I was 13 to buy fucking heroin. You know what even goes harder? I came home one day from school. The fucking fridge was gone, dude. He sold the fridge for drugs. Dude. Our fucking fridge for drugs.
That's shit you see out of a movie.
I lived it for a long time, man. A long fucking time. I went days without electricity, gas. I mean, dude, my life was my teenage years were no fucking walk in the park. Not even close. And I still, like, even to this day, like, I don't get a fucking apology. I get nothing. Like, why? It's not excusable behavior. Fuck, the least I can get is sorry. Sorry I was a piece of shit, At least you can acknowledge who you are as a person. So I don't even get that.
All right, I'm going to stop you right here. This is pure example of why judging someone by their appearance is such a fucked up thing to do.
Yes.
Like your story, no one would ever guess you dealt with this shit.
Never. Like, people would think I had a silver spoon in my mouth the whole time. Yeah.
This is pure example why do not judge. You don't know what someone has gone through in your childhood and the trauma that you dealt with your parents' relationships and the drugs and the lack of affection created who's sitting across from me right now.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, dude, you've done a really good job of picking the pieces up because you're a really good guy. Like, you're a good dude.
I appreciate that.
And like a lot of people that were put in that situation could have gone on a rampage for the rest of their life.
Yeah. I've seen
homeless,
I've
an
definitely
addict
seen
themselves. Like, you could have went a completely different direction.
Yeah.
But you took the high road. So that says a lot about who you are.
Yeah.
Would I ever think that you were, I don't want to say like you're damaged. I don't want to label you, but
I don't know what other term you could use.
I would never guess.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for just holding your chest up.
Yeah.
No one should ever have to mask their damage. And this is why I do this, dude. Like, there's people that are watching this or listening to this right now.
Yeah.
That are probably crying or
Very
probably saying to themselves, this sounds like my childhood.
I hope people can relate to it because I'm not afraid to talk about it. I think it should be spoke about. If
Absolutely.
you don't talk about it, I feel like it builds up some sort of resentment inside of you that kind of makes you, I don't know, man. It's really hard it is hard to talk about at times because it's really fucked up. I like from start to finish. Yeah. And even to this day, man, like I don't have, like I say that I don't have parents because I don't care, either of them. And it's really sad. Like even this past year, I didn't go to Christmas. I didn't even talk to my dad or my mom. I didn't even get an invitation, man. So like I'm done trying to make it okay with them. If they don't want me in their life, I don't fucking care.
You've tried to force their hands way too long. And I'm sure it's exhausting. I can't even imagine how exhausting it is.
It just really puts a strain on my marriage and my life because I feel like that toxicity carries over into what Bree and I, our relationship. And I don't need that. Like at the end of the day, her and I have been through some shit as well, but I know she always has my back. Right. 100%. And I know that she wants what's best for me. And I just, at this time, my mom and dad are not best for me. Even my stepdad. Until they can actually come to their senses and say, hey, the things that I've done to you are fucked up. I'm really sorry. I want this relationship. Sure. Then, we can cross that bridge. But until then, like I'm going on. I haven't spoke to my mom. I haven't seen her in person since September and it's almost February. Yeah. It's fucked up. We didn't celebrate Christmas, nothing. She mailed my stocking to me and we live 35 minutes apart. It's embarrassing. And she should be ashamed of herself.
So not to bring up Josh, your stepdad, but do you think he is trying to talk her into like strengthening the relationship with you? Like, this is your son.
I don't. I feel that they're pretty set in their ways and they've never liked Bree. So now that, like Bree and I have been together for, it'll be 4 years in September. And I think that has really pushed them away. And she's never told me not to talk to them or not to see them. But after, like, we'll get into that, like what happened recently. But, like, it's just not, it's not good for me or for us. It's not. She's never told me to not talk to them, not go spend time with them. They just don't care. Like they only care about themselves. And I'm not going to go over like my mom's house and that's all she does is talk about herself. Like, fuck that, man. I'll sit at home. I don't have time for that.
So Bree, your wife, she comes into your life. How long after you're together do you open up about your past? Do you kind of keep it hidden for a while?
I did. I just recently like came out with a lot of things. Oh man, like I actually blacked this one out for a long time. I was about 10 years old, maybe 9. I was getting a shower and my dad came in the bathroom and tried to like touch me while I was getting a shower. And I, backed away and I said, "What are you doing?" And then he kind of like came to his senses and, I just wanted to make sure you're okay. And then walked back out of the bathroom. So like, yeah, man, like I have literally experienced each horrible thing that could possibly happen to you. Like obviously it didn't happen, but I blacked that out because it was going to happen. If I wouldn't have said anything and I just would have stood there, guaranteed it would have happened. Like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with both of them, but I just don't know like what I did or why I was picked for this. I really don't understand it, but yeah. And I actually came out with that like just within the last probably 6 to 8 months. I never told anyone that. Bree was the first person I told that.
How does it feel to tell me that story?
It's deep, man, because I know you have kids, and I know that's something you would never, ever do. No one in their right mind would ever do that. So I think it hits hard to people that have kids that are, that actually care about their family. So yeah, man, saying it like really opens it up, like opens the wound up a little bit. Because I had forgotten about that for so long. My counselor is the one, because he's like, hey, like it seems like something's bothering you. He's like, he's like, he's like, close your eyes for a second. And he says, I want you to think back as far as you can to the first thing that really scarred you. And I sat there for like 5 minutes, man, and thought, and I blacked that out. Pure trauma, you black out completely and almost forget about it. But then like, I finally reached that part of my brain and I'm like, holy fuck, like that did happen. Because I forgot about it for so long.
Did it feel, in a weird way, did it feel good to talk about it?
Yes. That was the first. I have told no one that my whole life, man. That was 20 or 21 years ago. I never said anything to anyone. He was the first person. And then after that session, when I came home and Bree came home, I told her, I was like, hey, like there's something I got to tell you. I never told you. I said, my life is really fucked up. It was. And I protected her from all of my stuff for a long time. I don't want her to worry about me. I would never do anything to myself, but I just don't want her to be concerned. She has enough of her own problems to deal with. So no need to carry mine.
So you're not opening up about a lot of things wasn't so much that she wouldn't judge you. It was more just to protect her feelings.
Yes.
Because you knew she would be concerned.
Yes.
Well, I admire that.
Yeah.
You're a protector, dude.
Yes.
You know how many people you've been trying to protect your whole life?
A lot.
Even though maybe they didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
That says a lot about you, man.
I don't like obviously Brie is my wife and she inherits my bullshit and my drama and all of that, but I just don't want to, she has a lot of her own problems and as we all do, I just didn't think it was appropriate to drag her into that for a couple of years. Yeah. Cause like we just recently, I wouldn't say within the last year, I came out with all that stuff and like, she didn't know most of it. Then I said everything. Like, I think that was what needed to be said.
Yeah. So, Bree comes into your life. It's the new woman, the new girl. And I think most parents, they obviously get defensive right off the bat.
Yes.
And then you add on the fact that Bree's defending you and pointing out things that aren't kosher with your parents and reasons why they're toxic and reasons why you should stay away from them, which is going to make your parents hate her even more.
Yes.
Newer girl swoops in. New girl's trying to keep Jake from his parents. Fuck that bitch. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Bree's just trying to help you and do what's right for you. I'm guessing Bree's relationship with your parents today
is completely non-existent. Yeah. Completely.
Because of that? Because she's been trying to protect you?
It started off pretty good, like when I first brought her around to them, but she pointed at some things, and I didn't catch on to it because it's kind of numb to me at this point, but every time we would go over there, they would only talk about themselves, and just like a one-up. Like if I said to you, hey, I made $100 today. And then your response back is, yeah, I made $200. Like that's just how they are. And I put up with it because of my mom. He is 1000% a one-upper. And he always has to be better than everyone else. When he's in a picture, like his face has to be front and center. I can't fucking stay. He used to be like this.
Get my good side.
Yeah. And then it's just always every girl that I had, even before Bree, I dated this girl named Jenna. Like he just fucking picks, and then they break. Bree never broke, and that's kind of like it really bothered him, big time.
So she stood her ground,
and she would fire back and make fun of him.
So she calls them out on their bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah. No one's going to like that.
No.
No one.
No, man.
I've been in those situations too,
and it was actually really funny to watch because it was awesome to watch him be put in his place. Because he's always like, and okay, his body style might be attractive to some people, not to me at all.
All right, so this is your stepdad.
Yes.
I can sort of see why
you
never
him.
Developed a relationship.
Did you?
It's not standing out.
Okay.
But it's possible.
I think you did, man. I'm not sure.
Well, He obviously didn't impress me.
Yeah, clearly.
Sorry, Josh.
Yeah.
You didn't impress me. Anyways. Hey, okay. So you're married. You went through your fun stage as a kid. You rebelled. You destroyed shit. You stole shit. Did you view your parents? Did you ever look at your parents and say, "I don't want to be them. I don't want to repeat what they did"?
Yes.
As a lesson learned.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially from the destruction my dad did. I mean, dude, it goes way deep. I mean, stealing shit out of his parents' house, my grandparents' house, taking money from them, taking their credit cards and racking them up. He literally put my mom into bankruptcy. Like, my mom signed for, they had vehicles together, and he quit paying everything. The house was in their names together. He stopped paying the mortgage because he was the one that still lived there. So, like, my mom was on, she was on the rack for that. And that's because it was half his and half hers. So she had to file bankruptcy. Like, he, literally fucked her life hard. And I can see why she is the way that she is and how she acted and all that stuff. I get part of it, but, I had a little trust fund from my great-grandparents. I never got that money back. They took it to save themselves. That was $20,000, man, that I should have had. Gone. And I never got it back. And I was supposed to get that money back probably about 6-7 years ago. My mom got an inheritance, a couple $100,000. I didn't get shit. They bought themselves a new car, put on a kitchen, bought a new pool, bought another Harley. I didn't get nothing. And I just think that's so fucking rude, man. You took my money when I was vulnerable, when I was a kid, and never gave it back. Just to save a house that couldn't be saved. Like that, they were so far in debt. I didn't know the extent of it, but I got it later down the road because my mom told my gram everything. So I got some of the information from my gram, and I said, how far were they behind on the house? 6 fucking months, man. Stop paying the bills. So $1,000 a month, obviously $6,000 interest, all that, and then all the credit cards, all that shit. Used all that money to buy themselves some more time. It was unsavable. It was already gone. So yeah, man, like I've been shafted for a long time.
Do you always feel like you're looking over your shoulder, like waiting for the next person to fuck you over? Or
not so much anymore.
Good.
Because I like I said, I let all that stuff go with them. I forgive them, but I'll never forget.
No one's going to forget all that, man.
Never. It's too deep.
And in a weird way, maybe it's good that you don't forget it. Because these are all life lessons that have helped you become the person you are today.
Yeah.
And can help you maybe guide someone else that's probably listening and watching. You're helping someone else right now, I guarantee it. And if you would have forgot all that, that's all those valuable lessons that you could never pass on to somebody else or help yourself grow from it. So,
yeah,
as shitty as it was that you had to live that, it's probably good that you still have those memories because you can learn from them.
Yeah.
So that's my glass half full thought on the whole thing.
No, man, it's good because, like I said, you'll never forget it. I remember that stuff clear as day, and I can go way back in my mind. So I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. Like I can still remember stuff completely, like it was yesterday, because those memories are stained.
Yeah.
Literally like brainwashed in my mind, and I'll never forget them. They just have a lasting effect, good or bad. It's like, even if it was like good memories, you never forget those. Same with bad.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget any of that stuff.
So you said you forgave them. Do you feel like you're truly at peace with all this shit that went down?
I don't know if you can ever truly be at peace, to be honest. I mean, you can always forgive someone, but you always have that in the back of your head that might happen again, could probably happen again. So I don't even know if I trust either of them. My mom more than my dad. Obviously, my mom she didn't steal from me like he did, but I mean, just so many things, man. Like we could be on here for 10 hours if I could talk about all the shit that has happened. My dad stole Bree's wedding band out of my house when we were on vacation. Like, what the fuck, man? And like, I thought all that, like, we were cool. We had like, this is kind of going, well, not really off topic, but it's just another example, like, as to why you can't trust either of them. We had a good relationship at the time. I had him come over. We were going to Virginia Beach. I think it was summer of 21, I believe. Yeah. And I said, hey, we're going to be gone 5 days. Watch the house. I didn't have anybody else to watch the house. And at that time, I only had a Ring camera up front. I didn't have one out back. Now I have cameras all around the whole house for this reason.
That's a shame that you're protecting your home from your own dad.
Fucking nuts, man. So we're gone. Okay, it gets good. So at the time, I worked for a different medical company. We had a company vehicle. I had one. I parked it out front because I had 2 cars. Bree has her car, and then I had that work vehicle. So I'd park it out front of the house. I saw him. It was like 9:30. It's our first night in Virginia Beach. Ring camera goes off. I see the notification on my phone, and I'm like, all right, wonder what this could be. It's him. He unlocks the car, gets in my work car, takes something out of it, and then walks back inside. I call him. I said, what are you doing? He's like, what? What do you mean? I said, I just saw you on the camera. I said, what are you doing in my work car? He's like, I was just taking the easy pass. Dude, that's billed to the fucking company. Like, what are you doing?
You're on vacation, but you're still going through the toll booth.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? So I said, put that back. You don't need that. I said, there's one in my car. And I said, why are you doing that? I said, you could, like, get me in some serious shit. So you can't take that easy pass and just use it as you want. And he's like, oh yeah, I guess not. Like, are you that fucking clueless, man? What's wrong with you? So after we get home, I check my car. Gas is completely run out, filthy dirty. I had a full tank and I had a BMW at the time. Full tank in it, completely out of gas. I think I had 45 miles left. He was driving it back and forth to Jeanette, which is where he lives. And I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you doing that? You have your own car. Drive your own shit. And then I'm looking around. Well, actually, fast forward to Christmas that year. We went to her family's. She's from Ohio, so her family is all based out of Ohio. We go there. He stays just to let the dogs out. That's it. 3:00. We left at noon. Comes over at 3. Leaves by 4. I seen him come in on the cameras, front of the house and the back of the house. And we come home the next day. Well, we went home later that day. We were gone for like 12 hours. Sunday morning, we like to clean. It's our thing. I'm looking around, and I'm OCD. Everything is turned a certain way. I see the ring boxes. I had them in the kitchen. I didn't think I'd have to hide them from my family. So one of the boxes is turned a funny way. Open it up. The engagement ring's in there. Open up the second box. Wedding ring's gone.
What the fuck? Did you know at that point what had happened?
I didn't even say anything. We got in Bree's car and drove there, and I fucking beat that door down until somebody answered. We actually passed my dad on the way there.
Wow.
Yeah. And he called and he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said, you want to tell me who stole the ring, or am I going to have to beat it out of somebody? And I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to work. And then he hung up the phone. So that's fine. We can ask my stepmom. She's like, I don't even wear rings. She finally opens the door after about 10 minutes of pounding on the door like the cops. She's like, I don't even wear rings. We look at her fingers. She has, out of her 10 fingers, she has 9 rings. Okay. I'm sure you don't.
It's like the freaking Dos Equis guy. I don't always wear rings, but when I do,
yeah, like,
I have
what?
one off.
Like, what the fuck? And then she blames it on my autistic half brother. He stole it. He must have stole it. I would never do that. Blame it on your fucking son that has autism. Like, you are a actual piece of shit. Yeah. They are completely scumbags of the earth, especially her. Like, she actually decided that it was cool to use heroin while she was pregnant with them. They were twins, Brennan and Braden. Braden is dead. He died 2 years ago. He was...
At what age?
11 or 12. Because of her drug use.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I could go forever. Like, my life is strange.
Does she own up to that?
No.
She blames it on something else.
Yeah.
Something he ate. Something in the water.
It was just genetics, you know. I wasn't using it that time. She was using heroin her whole pregnancy, and she still uses heroin and meth to this day. And my dad just doesn't. He's married to her, but doesn't use drugs. Okay, like, yeah, That's why I don't speak to them. I bet you they've been married for 14 years. I think I've had 5 conversations with her. I think she's a complete piece of shit, and I will not speak to somebody that is on that level. I refuse to. I don't care if they're technically family. Don't give a fuck. I'm not talking to somebody that, and she was late for his funeral, by the way. I went to pick them up. I had to leave their house. Funeral was at 10. Mind you, they are fucking scumbags. So they got the funeral home to pay for the funeral. Because usually funeral homes will pay for children that are young, firefighters, police, people of like in the line of duty.
People that deserve it.
So they paid for this funeral. Full casket, everything. It's like $10,000 funeral. Free. She has the nerve to put it on Facebook and put a GoFundMe on her fucking Facebook. She was late too. So the service was at 10. We're all standing inside of there, probably 50, 60 people. She showed up about 10:35. She's late to her own son's funeral. I'm telling it sounds like I'm making it up, man, because it's wild shit, but I swear. Bree was there too. Like, we went to go pick up Brennan and my dad, and they came with us. And then my dad's like, fuck it, leave her here. And because, like, I didn't want to be late either. I didn't want to be labeled as that. You know, I wanted to be there on time, as you should for a funeral. You pay your respects respectively. So, yeah, man.
I don't even know what to say. It sounds like, this is going to sound really harsh, but I'm just going to go for it.
Go for it.
It sounds like your parents didn't have a son, and you were a son that didn't have parents for your whole lives.
Up until I was about 12.
You were kind of just coexisting.
Yeah, pretty much. It's wild, man. And it still happens to this day. Like, it just happened on my birthday, my 31st birthday.
You were their only child.
Yeah, and they still couldn't manage that. Wild.
Well, thank goodness they didn't have another one.
Yeah, because I think if I think if I would have had a brother or even a sister, like, we would have rallied through it. But I think it would have been even harder for 2 people to feel the same way. You know what I mean? 2 people to go through all that. Yeah. I would never, ever want a sibling to experience that. Like, I didn't want to experience it, but I did. And I'm okay. Like I said, I'll never forget any of it, but dude, it just goes so deep. I mean, every couple months, like, something happens. Even, like I said, even to this day, like, shit still happens. And I, like, for what? Like, I don't do anything wrong. I'm a normal person. I get up, go to work, own a couple businesses on the side, go to the gym, have a wife. We go out sometimes. We hang out with friends. I got dogs. Like, I'm just a normal fucking person.
Life, right?
Yeah. And I still get fucking shafted.
So you're 31 now.
Yes.
Do you feel like you were still searching for that father figure in your life? Or have you kind of just given up?
Honestly, man, we met our neighbors. Shout out to Dave and Robin. They are great people. Great people. We call them mom and dad.
Really?
They are the best people. 2 of the best people I've ever met in my life.
That's awesome.
We tell them that we love them. They're awesome people. They are the most selfless human beings I've ever met. Like, Dave's always like, we have their garage code, and like, he's, hey, if you ever need the truck, keys are there, take it. Whatever you need, just take it.
Are they older than you?
Dave is 60. Okay. He'll be 62. Robin is 56. So a little bit older than my parents.
The same age as your parents.
Yeah. And they are, like I said, man, like, it actually, like, I know how much they love us, and I know how much I, like, Bree and I love them. Like, we literally call them our parents.
That's wild.
Yeah. And that's all I need, man. I don't need my real parent. Like, they're more, I tell them that all the time. They invited us to Thanksgiving. I did Thanksgiving there. Well, we did Thanksgiving there. We did Christmas there. Like, they're awesome people.
Do they have kids?
They do. So we all come together.
Like one big happy family?
Yeah, dude. It's wild. It's fucking wild.
That's crazy.
And they live directly across the street from us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess you got the chills. So your life up to this point, you moved in, what, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
When was that? That was May of 21. We bought that house in Plum.
So yeah, going on almost 3 years.
Yes.
And you went through a lot of shit, multiple houses up until that point.
Yes.
And you're now living across the street from mom and dad.
Yes.
It's crazy how life brought you there. Mm-hmm. They were put in your life for a reason.
Absolutely. And like we met them, like they introduced themselves when we moved in to that house. But we always thought they were swingers. Like so we like never.
What? Why did you think that?
So they don't hang out with anyone of their age. So like I said, Robin's in her mid 50s, Dave's early 60s.
You don't have to like divulge too much information. I don't want Robin and Dave to be getting
no.
weird messages after this. Like,
no.
You guys swinging?
And that's like, I don't know. Like, it's not that we didn't want to impose. I wasn't sure like what they were looking for. You know what I mean? Like if they wanted us to like, like do that shit because we're not about that. So yeah, we never really hung out with them. And then the one day they invited us down to their boat. They have a 38-foot yacht, fucking sick boat. And yeah, we just started talking. We hung out with them. And then we went over to their house a couple of times. And then like we have dinner with them once or twice a week. We spend almost every weekend, well, at least a little bit of time. Like we always go over there. We at least see them once or twice a week. And if we don't see them in person, we are texting them. So they're literally like parents.
That is
wild.
Super cool. Dude.
Yeah, they're fucking awesome people, man. I was going to say, you'll have to come down to the boat. I mean, I'm selling mine on Sunday, but it's a whole community down there. And they would love to have you.
Well, I'm glad that you found them. You obviously needed that sort of figure in your life.
Yeah.
What about Bree's parents? You don't have to like.
No, they're good people too, man. I know she's had yes. So she has had. They are divorced.
Okay.
Her mom kind of went off a little bit and got married 2 or 3 different times. So she has multiple stepdads. She only talks to the current stepdad. His name is Bob. They've had their issues, but they've been in counseling. They've worked on their issues. He has kind of a drinking problem, actually bourbon and whiskey, and he's no longer allowed to drink that. He just gets kind of mean and nasty when he gets a few drinks in him, and her mom doesn't deserve that. So that's kind of where they were butting heads a little bit, but they have figured it out. They're good people. Bob is an excellent fucking cook, man. I love going down there we go down there for Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the holidays. Dude cooks everything from scratch. He makes a fucking homemade apple pie with like the crisscross shit on top or the apple crumble and caramel.
Oh, Dutch apple.
He can fucking cook, man. Yeah. And then her dad, after her parents got divorced when she was 16, Bree went through a lot of shit too. Like we're both equally pretty fucked up. I'm a little bit more, but she's had her fair share of issues as well. With like her parents being divorced, things happening to her. But anyways, her dad, they had kind of a rough patch for a little while there, like when she was a teenager. And then even before they split up, they kind of had a rough patch, but he loves her more than anything, man.
Good.
They have a great relationship. They talk almost every day. I love Gary, and I know Gary loves me, tells me, calls me his son, makes me feel good, man.
That's awesome.
So they're good people.
So you're not without parental figures right now?
No.
You have people that love you.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
are in that role, which is good.
Yes.
All right, we need to arm wrestle.
All right, let's do it.
So I have to admit, I'm actually nervous to arm wrestle you. I want to be able to keep it in front of you.
Okay. Yeah, do your thing, man. Do the extendo.
All right. Oh, I feel like I've met my match right now.
You might fucking smoke me, man. Remember, this shit was all torn.
We never know.
18. So what, we keep in our hands?
All right. So you start whenever you want. I'm going to ask you a question when we do this.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
Go ahead. So your parents are sitting right there. What do you have to say to them right now? They're sitting right there, Jake. Look at them and say it. Look at them.
Look, got me. Yeah.
Truce.
I figured you were gonna get. I have no arm like arms. It looks like I got it. Yeah, but it was like it was starting to pinch.
Little T-Rex. Oh, sorry. I forgot you're injured.
That was when I was tore my bicep tendon, my pec minor, and parts of my forearm. 500 pounds on bench when I was 18.
That's all.
That's it.
I could do 501.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, literally. I'm sure that's what's going to come out of the woodwork.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I got it for one clean. I was doing board presses, actually. I only had 2 2x4s on my chest. Just nice pause, right up. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm going for another one. Like, I feel this. I'm doing it. Come down, 1, 2, up. Right before I rack it, it was like a chicken wing bone snapping. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Dude took it. Supposed to do that.
Racked it for me. I had minimal bruising, but I knew right then and there, I'm like, time to saddle up, time to get the fuck out of here. So yeah, I put the weights back. I didn't want to be that guy. And then I walked out and I didn't return back to the gym for about 4 to 6 months. Never got surgery. I did experimental therapy. Trying to think what else I did too. A lot of physical therapy, trying to relearn the motions because I still kind of can't, like this right arm doesn't go back as far as my left. My left will go back further, right will not.
So you sort of just learned to work around it.
I do. I'm a little lopsided if you're looking directly at me. Like when I used to compete, obviously, like, your shirt's off, and I could see it in the pictures after my competition. I'm like, fuck, man, I look like a slope, look like a mountain, like just slanted on one side because this is all fucked up still. So it took me a long time to get that back. I still don't bench to this day for that reason. I can do dumbbells heavy as hell. I just cannot flat bench, man. I'm terrified of it because it's just a vulnerable position.
Yeah. Well, then don't do it.
I do not for that reason, man. Like I want to because it's an ego lift. You know, when you slap 3 plates on there, even more than that, it looks good. It looks nice.
Yes, it does.
Everyone's like, hey, that guy looks kind of strong. Like, but I'm good, man. I can throw the dumbbells back. That's enough for me.
I've seen it.
120s, 130s, 140s.
Yeah.
I'm spotted.
You're a strong lad.
Strong lad.
It's interesting that so the guests that I've had on, and there's going to be hundreds more. You heard it here. There's going to be hundreds more guests on this podcast. I know each guest at a different level.
Yes.
Some closer than others, some different relationships than others.
Yeah.
We're close. You know, I feel like we know a lot about each other.
We do.
I learned a lot about you today. Like,
a lot of people don't know any of that, man. And to me, like, I only share that with people that, you know, I have like a certain bond with, and that's it. Like, that's not something I just spew out of my mouth all the time.
Now, you saying that, it's just us sitting here.
Yeah.
But thousands of people are going to hear this or see this.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for being vulnerable because I know it's not easy.
Yeah.
Especially for men. Men get this.
They don't want to look inferior.
They don't. And it's a sign of weakness sometimes, especially with the alpha males. Like, oh, men don't cry. Men don't compliment other men. Men don't touch other men.
Yes, I know what you mean.
It says a lot about you to just open up.
Yeah.
About all that stuff. And I thank you for all of the people that are going to be better people after hearing this, and all the people that I guarantee you're going to help. And there could be other people out there judging you.
There could be.
They're going to listen and see this, and they're going to be like, oh, I'm an asshole.
Man, I feel bad. Yeah.
He's been through some shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that right now, man.
Yeah.
Like, even though that we kind of like joked about our initial confrontation.
Yeah.
It runs so much deeper than
it
the
goes
outside.
Way deep. And like I said, maybe, I don't know if you'll have people that come on the show, like have them back, but like there's so much to talk about.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of repeat guests.
Yeah.
And I'd like you to be one of them, of course.
Absolutely, man. You know that.
But even like my guest on the second episode, Kevin, you know, he's all tatted up and he's in shape and he's got perfect hair, and you know, I judged him. He admitted on the show that he judged me too. Right?
I mean, I kind of did a little bit, but like, you don't know what to think of somebody until you actually truly have a conversation, and then you have a conversation. And if someone's well put together and can hold a conversation and doesn't use word fillers like but you know, like then
Which
you're like,
I
wow.
say a lot. So thanks for calling me out on that. But anyways,
It's hard to put all your
Yeah.
thoughts together. But like when someone actually has speaking skills, and when you see someone in the gym, you kind of assume that they usually don't, especially if they look kind of big. You're like, I don't know about
they
this
count
guy.
in 45 increments.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. That's their math.
One Mississippi, two Mississippi. What comes after two?
Right.
Yeah. So like, I just
45,
don't.
90. Yeah.
Like, I was shocked, man. I was like, this guy has his shit together. You have a great career. You provide for your family. You provide for your girlfriend's family. Like, you know what I mean? That says a lot about who you are too, man. It goes a lot deeper than just seeing someone, like you said. Like, there's a lot that goes on even with your life, man. You do a lot of shit, and I don't think you give yourself enough credit. You know what I
I
mean?
appreciate that.
Yeah. No, I mean, you provide for Maria's kids. You provide for your own kids. You're always around. You're able to talk when spoken to. You're able to listen. You're able to be that person for people. And it doesn't really exist today. There's not good people. It's hard to find them.
It is hard to find good people. And we were brought in our lives for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge like fate type person, but I do believe that people are brought in other people's lives for a reason. You might not realize it that day,
Yes.
but we're drawn together because I'm a good person. You're a good person. You felt like you could trust me, vice versa. We don't judge each other.
No.
Past that joking
we're
incident.
past that. Yeah.
Like we're just trying to get through life the best we can, dude.
That's it,
You know?
man. That's all you can do at the end of the day.
And
like,
we're either of us are far from perfect, but the fact that we could admit our imperfections to each other, that says a lot about who we are too,
yeah,
right? A lot of people walk around thinking that shit don't stink.
I know a bunch. And I'm sure
They
you
don't
do
want to
too.
take accountability for anything. Nothing's their fault. Nothing's their problem. Everything's everybody else's problem. They have bad luck, blah, blah, blah.
It's always, oh, boo-hoo. Yeah, the pity
But,
party. Yep.
Dude, you've been through hell,
Yes.
literally. And look at you now, dude.
I mean, it even goes worse than that. Like, you know, I thought I had everything figured out when I was in my 20s, went to school, got a degree, just an associate's degree, and then I'm like, fuck it. You know, I got some pull with family members that have worked in the prison or currently work there. My uncle works there. My pap retired from there. So I got a little bit of pull. My mom's probation officer. I know some judges. She knows some judges. So I got a job at the prison. Worked there for about a year. It's right before I started competing. Obviously, you got to take steroids to compete at that level. So I'm taking steroids. I hooked one of my friends up. He was a confidential informant. He turned me into the police. I sold him 5 bottles of test in March of 2014. Oh man. Right before Thanksgiving, I get a call from the state police saying that I need to come in there and they need to talk to me. And I said, I don't understand what the fuck this is about. Why don't you tell me what it is about? I'm not just going to walk into the state police station and not understand why I'm here.
Right.
They said, we'll tell you when you get here, as a typical cop would say. So I said, well, I'm going to bring an attorney. I said, I'm not just going to show up there blind. They said, you do whatever you think is appropriate. They said, if you don't come here, oh man, I think it was on a Thursday. They said, if I'm not there by Monday end of day, they're putting a warrant out for my arrest. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I'm wrapping my head around it. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Like, what is going on? So I go there the following day, Friday. I was off work, show up with my attorney. We go. They open up this manila folder, and they got pictures of me around other people that were selling steroids at that time. And they said, do you know this person? I denied everything. And they said, we have you caught. And I said, caught doing what? And they said, you sold steroids to a confidential informant. I said, who's that? And they said, we can't tell you that information. Of course they wouldn't. And, we can prosecute you. And I said, who's the fucking person? And they said, you'll see him in court. And I said, how can I even believe any of this? And they're like, you're going to lose your fucking job. Like, it's over. I got processed that day at the state police barracks in Greensburg. And then, as embarrassing as this is, man, like, despite everything that I said, all that stuff, I didn't think it could get any worse. And it did. After I got processed, I had 72 hours to tell them that I was going, because they were going to process it. Like I got processed on a Friday. Monday, which would be 72 hours, they were going to let the prison know that I have an open investigation on me, which were felony charges. And you have to leave, like you lose your job until found innocent or guilty. And that wasn't even correct. That wasn't even accurate. So I work Saturday. I'm fucking sweating bullets the whole time. I make it through the shift. I also worked on Sunday. I couldn't do it, man. I worked 2 to 10. I walked right into the lieutenant's office, and the warden told him what was going on. They said, all right, take all your shit and get out now. I was like, I can't even finish my shift. They're like, absolutely not. I said, okay. So I had to be walked out by the 2 guys that ran the union, 2 union reps, in front of the whole fucking prison, like a fool.
Wow.
So
Walk of shame.
Literally, from where our locker room was, you had to go through all of the employee hallways and then right out the front door. So visitors, inmates, everybody that works there, they all fucking saw it. So I barricaded myself in my room for like 2 weeks. And then not to mention, I had to tell my fucking mom and stepdad, which I already had all these issues with to begin with. They didn't talk to me for weeks. And I just got blamed for it. Oh, yeah, you shouldn't be using that stuff anyways. Like, why the fuck do you use it? Why did you sell it? And to me, I just didn't, I don't think that it's a big deal. I never thought it was a big deal. Who cares?
It's part of competing at that level.
It is.
It's just like taking a protein.
That's what I compare it to.
You have to do it to compete at that level.
So I got caught up on that. It took the court system 4 years to prosecute me. So not only I lose my fucking job, I lose my car, I lose my street bike, I lose the place I lived at, my apartment, lost it all, and my girlfriend on top of it. So I lost everything, and then I had to move back home. I had to go back to the job that I got in high school. I was fucking cooking pizzas, and I was 22 years old. It was like really fucking eye-opening and extremely embarrassing. I had a really nice car that I just bought because I had a good job. I made good money. I had to turn it back in because I couldn't afford it. Same with my bike. Like I had to just fork as much money as I could to pay for my attorney. It's $3,000 for a criminal case to retain an attorney, and then he has to represent you each time. So all these years go by. Usually when the court system, they have your charges. So like if you sell any kind of drug, whatever it is, scheduled 1, 2, 3, you get a felony and 2 misdemeanors. So possession with intent to deliver, which is an F1. And then you get 2 misdemeanors, which is use and possession of paraphernalia and another misdemeanor. They're both M2s. So the court system, like I said, I didn't think it could get any worse. When I went to my preliminary hearing in a magistrate, they withdrew the felony or withdrew the 2 misdemeanors and sent the felony up to the higher court. So I couldn't plead anything lower than a felony. They're not going to create another charge. So long story short, I had to take a felony. And I never have been in trouble a day in my life. No parking tickets, no previous record, nothing. And I had to fucking eat that. And I am still so fucking mad to this day about that because completely undeserving. Just because I was a prison guard, my mom's probation officer, and we have all these family members that work within the system, it doesn't show favoritism. To me, if I was, always in that same path of creating problems and making problems, sure, give me what I deserve. I didn't fucking deserve that. And that cop had a personal vendetta to fuck my life up. Absolutely.
Yeah. The police have a lot of power.
Tons.
And it's frightening. So you lose everything at age 13. Then you lose everything at age 22.
Yeah.
Are you afraid it's going to happen again?
No, I'm pretty stable.
Good.
Where I'm at now, but I didn't think I could ever grow from that. Yeah. So I ended up using all that pent up anger and everything. I went back to school, got a 4-year degree. I finished my 4-year degree. So I already had an associate's. I finished the rest of my four-year degree in a year and a half. So I went to Pitt, got my degree. I don't even know why I did it, because I can't fucking use it.
Yeah.
I'm a felon.
Right.
And still to this day, that doesn't come off your record until 10 years after being convicted. You
You got about a year to go.
well, no, that was from,
There was a 4-year delay.
yeah. So
Geez.
not from when I was charged, from when I was actually convicted. So I got 4 years, man. And it pisses me off because do I feel like that could have, like, it ruined my potential? Fuck yeah, man. I went to school. I had perfect grades. Like, I got 2 4.0s my last 2 semesters at Pitt. Like, I feel like I could have did something. I could have went to law school. Like, there's so many things I wish I could have did, but I got sold short yet again. And I made one mistake, and that defines my life, essentially. You know, it's hard to go back. Why the fuck would I go back to school at 35? You know, I'll be 35 when it's 10 years. I could, but do I really want to? Fuck no, man.
I wouldn't say that it ruined your life because you've obviously made a really good thing of your life, despite all of the conflict and struggle you've been through.
Yeah.
And it seems like you've taken a lot of that and learned from it to make yourself better from it. And
Yeah.
I think you're going to do that again when you turn 35. Who knows what your future is still, dude? Like,
I feel like it's still up in the air.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
you can still make something even better of your life.
It just sucks because, like, being a felon, like, you can't do a lot of things. Like, up until recently, I couldn't vote. Like, you can't even vote if you're a felon. Can't have a firearm. And, you know, like, you can't even be around a firearm. And I don't have how can I word it? An aggressive charge. I don't have, it's not a gun charge. It's not assault. It's not violent. It's not violent is the word.
Right.
And, like, I still get stripped of that. And, like, isn't that part of, you know, I get my freedom stripped away? Like, I don't know, man. I just think it was, to this day, like, even when I got convicted, that cop wasn't even, like, he wasn't even a patrol cop anymore. He wasn't a detective at all anymore, nothing. He flew the fucking helicopter. And he still went out of his way to fucking convict me. So I had no choice, man. It was either, so that day in court, I'll never forget it. I literally have the date tattooed on me up here. Because it made an example out of myself. And my attorney told me, he said, you got 2 options. And I said, okay, what are they? He said, today's the last day. He said, the confidential informant is here. The police officer's here. He said, they want to make a deal today. I said, well, what's the deal? He said, you can do a non-jury trial and you would go against the DA. It'd be us against the DA. And he said, or you can take the felony. And I said, well, am I going to do jail time if I take the felony? He said, no, you'll do probation, pay your fines, move on with your life. I said, what if I do a non-jury trial? He said, I can't guarantee you that you won't go to jail. He said, they kind of have it out for you. So pretty sure you would do the mandatory minimum sentencing for an F1. It's 18 to 24 months in prison. And I don't even have a fucking record, man. So I'm sitting there. I'm not done with school. I'm still currently enrolled at Pitt. And I'm like, well, what do I do? Because I graduated. That was spring of 2018. I graduated in the fall. Well, I'm like, what do I do? And then, of course, I asked my mom for advice. And she's like, you should do the non-jury trial. I'm like, I could go to fucking jail today for that. And she's like, well, you know, at least you, like, you know, you have a chance of not getting that felony. I'm like, fuck that, I ain't doing that. Even my attorney was like, he's like, look, man, like, I'm still close with him, even today. He said, I don't want to see you go to jail. He's like, I think you have a better shot. You have a good shot of going to jail if you do a non-jury trial because they're going to look at it as disrespect. He said, I would just take the charge. We can get it off your record down the road. He's like, please don't do a non-jury trial. He's like, I really don't want to see you ruin your life. Yeah. And I took his advice.
Well, yeah, it's like you've been a target your whole life.
Seriously, man.
Like, and you're probably like, why me? And I think you even said that earlier, like, why me?
Yeah.
Why was I chosen to deal with all this? Why was I chosen to have parents like this? Why was I chosen to go through this kind of life? It's making you stronger.
I think so. I think it really, over the years, man, I think it really has. Because, knock on wood, I know this is not wood, close enough, but I've had nothing crazy happen, honestly. And I've been on the straight and narrow, all of that. I still feel, I'm still bitter about that, and I'll always be bitter about that. Because I know so many people that do the wrong thing all the time, still cheat, hurt people, and get away with it all the fucking time. Sell drugs, never get caught. it's just bullshit, man. The one time like I get caught, and that's the only time I've ever had any issue whatsoever. Like I get screwed. So, yeah, sucks.
Well, you made the best of it, and I respect you for that. Because yeah, you could be sitting here a bitter middle-aged man. Hey, I hate the world. But no, you're not. So, well, we're gonna close it out. Thanks for opening up, man.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Huge respect for that.
No, I wanted to tell my story. I feel like it's important. People could definitely learn from it. I think 100%. So I hope that people hear the message and don't be afraid to open up and talk to people. Never know when someone is in the same boat as you are.
Yeah,
and people can relate. So hopefully I help some people.
Guaranteed.
Cool. That's what I wanted.
Love you, bro.
Love you, man.
All right. See you on the next episode. Barbells and Bourbon. Peace.
Oh, wow. Thought I still had some.